bulls get down on their knees, lick their lips, and pray for a Christmas Day miracle, there is only one mega pattern left to bust the Moon Boys once and for all back to 20K. But will the Bitcoin bulls be absolutely annihilated and sent to the lowest levels of hell like Tesla stock? Or is Bitcoin about to begin the final week of 2022 with a one small step for Magoo, one giant leap for Magoo? What an absolutely insane week for Bitcoin, and unfortunately I haven't been able to cover the price of Bitcoin over the last couple of days as I was traveling at the beginning of the week, and then just a few days ago I was stricken with a sickness, and in fact, I'm still suffering from it. Luckily for me though, Bitcoin has done completely nothing, or unlucky for me, really unlucky for everyone. Nothing has happened. So with Bitcoin's price here, there's quite nothing going on, but I want to start off by looking at the stock market, as we all should be looking at. After its most recent rejection, but subsequent actual squeak out of that previous high and first trendline break that we've gotten the entire year back on December 13th, the stock market has completely plummeted, going below all the short-term key moving averages for the SPX and just really not looking that promising. And in the meantime, we have the DXY continuing to kind of just trade at these previous lows right around the 104, 105 level. Okay, so that's interesting for the DXY. Nothing too telling just yet. What we see shaping up on Bitcoin's chart is the bigger story here. And before we continue with that as well, I want to take a look at Tesla, which has been completely getting dumped on. So, for example, if we take a look at the SPX over the past week, actually, let's go from December 13th to today. The stock market is down about 7%. December 13th to today, for Tesla, it's down about 30%. So there are a lot of people saying that Tesla's only down because the stock market is down. That's partially true, absolutely, but Tesla's getting crushed more so. And that is because probably Elon's Twitter acquisition and Tesla investors pretty much, as we know, the third largest Twitter shareholder actually, as we know, has criticized Elon recently over the last week, basically for focusing too much on Twitter for no reason. And I think this is more so indicative of a wider problem, which is just everything is getting smashed and tensions are high right now. And we're seeing potentially overvalued stocks like Tesla finally come squealing and crumbling down to their knees potentially. And the big question now is, are we at the very end of this bear market, at the very end of this downturn, recession? Because I think it's fair to say that we are in a recession, even though the definition has been changed, I believe, over the last year. I think it's fair to say we are in a recession. But are we at the end of this, or are we at the very beginning of it? I think that's the really big question here, because if we are at the beginning of it, we have a long way to go to the downside. And really, we won't have a definitive answer, in my opinion, until maybe the tail end of Q1 2023. So maybe until February or March, we'll have a really good idea if we're about to see crypto and other speculative risk-on assets start to pump again. Now, that's good news if you're interested in accumulating as much as you can over these next couple of months, right? And I think we will be given that opportunity. But with Bitcoin's chart right here, again, I'm still not counting out a move back to at least the $20,000 level over just the next couple of weeks here, as we see Bitcoin in a macro falling wedge here. And again, I personally think that the most optimistic we could see this break out to before either trading sideways or dumping again would be to the $30,000 range. And now you can see we've had significant resistance for Bitcoin this entire trend, very similar to what the SPX, its resistance has been the entire year as well. Actually, if we go to the weekly chart, you can see, again, we've gotten rejected countless times right here, countless times for the SPX at this trend line. And we had our first, again, as I said, on the 13th of December, very first small little break above that. But overall, we have largely just gotten rejected very strongly every single time here. And it has turned into a multi-month downtrend for the stock market every time we've gotten rejected here. So that's very indicative of the future if it's going to repeat anything similar, right? For example, after one of our ejections, we dumped for about 3 months, and then we dumped again for about 3 months. And basically, if we would continue dumping similarly, we would see this downtrend for the stock market continue into like late February of 2023. So if the stock market is going to repeat all of its other dumpy trends after getting rejected at this year-long trend line, then we're about to see dumpage for the stock market for at least the next 2 months, if not longer, slightly longer. And again, we know how that would affect Bitcoin. Bitcoin would dump as well. And Bitcoin potentially would make another leg down. But again, the biggest red candle you see on this screen was because of SBF. It was not tied to just traditional price action. If it was, Bitcoin would be around $20,000 right now, having missed out on the entire pump the stock market got back in the beginning and mid-December. And perhaps by some miracle, Bitcoin is still holding at the $16,000 level. Again, we have to see. I still personally would not count out Bitcoin just making a surprising move to a lot of people back to the $20,000 range before then, as I said, either continuing to trade sideways or just continuing this downward trend longer term. But again, so many things will dictate Bitcoin's price that are not crypto, namely the DXY and the stock market. And the stock market does not look great. But if we are going to see inflation really start to slow down, as is expected to do the first couple of months of 2023, according to Fed forecasts, then the light at the end of the tunnel is there, but we're absolutely not out of the woods. And your make it all back $1 trillion long positions are not yet ready to be placed if kind of these forecasts over the next couple of months are true. So you guys in the channel, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, and this is absolutely time-sensitive alerts. Take advantage of massive bonuses with BITGET and BitGet below, and 0 trading fees as well on those platforms when trading spot. Okay, great exchanges to accumulate crypto and then move on to your hardware wallets. Without any further ado, it's for me.